皆さん、こんにちは。元気ですか? Hello everyone, how are you today? As you know, we are in lockdown, and it's totally understandable if some of you are looking like Snorlax here. And let's get started. Our first online Japanese lesson. Just a bit of housekeeping. I want to know that before anything, your mental health is our number one priority. If you feel that you are feeling a little bit anxious in this lockdown and you benefit from having someone to talk to, there's a free 24/7 counseling available for you. All you need to do is just call them on 1800 So again, if you feel anxious, if you feel like you can talk to someone else at night, in the morning, in the afternoon, feel free to ring this number. If you feel like you want to talk to me, feel free to message me through email or write to me in your OneNote as well. And just letting you know, our online lessons, even though we have it online, I still want you to take notes in your physical Japanese book, except for note check answers. So all the notes you're taking for this online lesson, I want you to write them in your normal Japanese book, except for note check answers. The reason why I leave note check answers out of your book is because this is how I can keep attendance. Because it's going to be all recorded in this video, I won't be able to see who is actually watching the video or not. So what I want to do to prove your attendance to this video is I want to write down your answers for note check questions in your OneNote class notes. If you're not sure how to access your OneNote class notes, you're welcome to email your answers to me through my email. And just letting you know, all these slides I'm going to be showing you in Japanese, all are going to be written in hiragana, but also some are going to be written in Romaji. Romaji is a English alphabet, but written with Japanese sound. So it's pronounced Romaji, so it's written Romaji. So most all Japanese words can be written in hiragana, but some would be written Romaji, just to make sure that everyone understands what I'm talking about, because I understand some of you are still struggling to read hiragana. But those of you who understand and can read hiragana, I want to try your best in reading and writing hiragana. And just letting you know, just to celebrate our video, just our determination to watch this video, I have a surprise reward at the end of the lesson. So I want you to finish watching this whole lesson so that you get to find out what the surprise reward is. So let's get started. I want you to open your Japanese book and turn to the new page. And on top left corner, I want to write down today's date, which is 5th of August. So if you're, what we're going to do is that I'm going to keep going because we have limited time on this video. So I want, if you think that you're going to need more time to write down today's date, I want you to pause here. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going on today's lesson. So this is how you write 5th of August. 5th. So as you know, you are writing everything backwards in Japanese. So 5th comes at the end. This is pronounced itsuka, and August comes at the front. It's pronounced hachigatsu. So 8th month and 5th day. So I'm going to revise what we learned last week. We learned vocabulary for subjects. So I'm going to repeat each one of the vocabulary here. As you can tell, it's written in hiragana and romaji, just to make sure that every one of you know how to pronounce this vocabulary. Okay, repeat after me. Japanese, Nihongo. Math, 数学. English, 英語. Science, 理科. PE, 体育. music, 音楽、history, 歴史、geography, 地理. And you also learned vocabulary for adjectives. Repeat after me. Fun, 楽しい, interesting or funny, 面白い, difficult, 難しい, kind and easy in regards to difficulty, 優しい, boring, つまらない. Okay? まあまあ. strict, 厳しい. helpful and generous, 親切. So 優しい and 親切. It's a bit difficult to find a difference between 優しい and 親切 because they both mean kind. So if I ask you to say kind, you can say either 優しい and 親切. Okay, so quick revision on the grammar we learned last week. So whenever you want to talk about subject, you're going to put subject first, then wa, ending in des. This is because, for example, if you want to say English is interesting, there is no verb in the sentence. Verb is action word. There is no action word in the sentence. English is interesting. So you always have to put des at the end of the sentence whenever there is no verb. Just remember that one. So how do we say math is difficult? How do we say math is difficult? Math is 数学, difficult is 難しい. So you would say 数学は難しいです. Just to revise, you always put wa after a topic. Topic is something that comes in front of is, are, or verb. In this sentence, math is difficult. Math comes in front of is, so math is a topic. 数学, then you put wa to say that, hey, this is a topic. Then you just end in des because there is no verb. And you also learn to say very, which is とても. So how do we say geography is very easy? Geography is 地理, easy is 優しい. So you would say 地理は because geography is a topic that comes in front of is. 地理はとても very 優しい easy, ending in des because in this sentence you can tell there is no verb. You would use very in front of 優しい just like English. So now what I want to do is I want to write down 1, 2, 4 in your book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to speak 4 Japanese sentences. And I want to translate the sentences into English. So you're writing down 1, 2, 4, and you're going to translate Japanese sentences into English. First, number 1. 日本語は楽しいです。日本語は楽しいです。Number 2. 数学は難しいです。数学は難しいです。Number 3. 歴史と地理はまあまあです。歴史と地理はまあまあです。歴史と地理はまあまあです。Number 4. 音楽はとても優しいです。音楽はとても優しいです。 音楽はとても優しいです。If you want to listen to the sentences again, you're welcome to go back and listen again. Let's move on to the answers. Go. First, I said, 日本語は楽しいです。日本語 means Japanese language. 楽しい means fun. So number one, the answer is Japanese language is fun. I hope you all got this question correct. Number two, 数学は難しいです。数学 is math. 難しい means difficult. So math is difficult. Number three and four, as you can tell, they are advanced questions. Number three, 歴史と地理はまあまあです。歴史 means history. 地理 means geography. And まあまあ means okay. But as you can tell, this to particle here is colored in red. That means it's an advanced particle. To means and. So how you translate this sentence is history and geography is okay. Number four, 音楽はとても優しいです。音楽 is music. とても means very. 優しい is easy. Music is very easy. So I want to do is I want to write down how many answers you got correct. If you got one answer correct, you are sitting at C. Two answers correct, B. 3, B plus, and 4, A. So that's where you're sitting at the moment in regards to what you learned last lesson. I hope all of you guys are somewhere between B plus and A. If you didn't get B plus or A, I want to go back on the slides and revise on vocabulary. So this is what we're going to learn today. How to gossip about your teachers. Today you're going to learn to talk about your teachers. Express your thoughts and ideas about your teachers. And this is how you say that. I want to take notes of this in your book. So this is the new grammar you're learning today. This is how you say, for example, English teacher is kind. So you would put subject here, then no, sensei. This is how you spell sensei in kanji. Just letting you know this is a bracket. Okay, so this is actual kanji for sensei. Then wa, then you would put adjective here ending in des. That's how you say subject teacher is blah blah. So as you can tell, we are putting wa here because subject teacher comes in front of is. So we always put wa here in front of is. Then ending in des because we do not have an action word here in this sentence. So how do we say English teacher is kind? I want to write down in your book, e.g., English teacher is kind. And I want to write down this sentence in Japanese. I want you to pause here if you feel that you need more time. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. This is how you write down English teacher is kind. 英語の先生は優しいor 親切です。英語 is English, so you put 英語 here. Then の particle, 先生 teacher は then 優しい or 親切です。As I explained, 優しい and 親切 they both mean kind, so you can use either of those vocabulary. Now we're going to move on to practices. I want to write down these 3 sentences in your book in Japanese. Number 1, math teacher is strict. Number 2, geography teacher is funny. Number 3, science and music teachers are kind. So you can see there are 3 stars here. That means this is an advanced sentence. If you don't get this sentence correct, that's okay. Do not feel bad about it. But if you do, that's awesome. You're going to be needing to use an advanced particle to say this sentence. So you can pause here so that you can take notes. You can write these sentences down in Japanese in your book. Otherwise, we're going to be moving on. So this is the sentence structure you're going to be using for these sentences. First, math teacher is strict. Math is sugaku. Strict is kibishi. So that's how you write it. Some of you who are still learning to write in hiragana, you might be writing down in romaji, that's okay. But if you know how to, or if you're learning, if you're on the good track to write in hiragana correctly, I want to try writing in hiragana, because at the end of the term, you're going to have a written assessment where you're going to be writing everything in hiragana. So I want to get used to it. But if you are really, really struggling with writing in hiragana, that's okay. At the moment, you can learn, you can focus on learning grammar. So math is sugaku, strict is kibishi. So that's how you write down math teacher is strict. Sugaku no particle, sensei, teacher, wa kibishi, ending in desu. Sugaku no sensei wa kibishi desu. I put no particle, wa particle, and desu at the end in bold because quite a few students, I assume, are forgetting to put these in your sentences. So make sure that you have that in your sentence. Otherwise, it's difficult to make sense. Number 2, geography teacher is funny. Make sure you're using this sentence structure. Chiri no sensei wa omoshiroi desu. Again, Chiri is geography, then sensei is teacher, omoshiroi is funny. Make sure that you're having these particles, no and wa, and desu at the end. Last one is very, very tricky. Science and music teachers are kind. How do we say this? Kagaku no sensei to ongaku no sensei wa yasashii desu. Kagaku is science. Ongaku is music. Kind is yasashi. So again, if you want to say science teacher, you would put science, then no particle, then sensei to say science teacher. So kagaku no sensei. This bit is science teacher. Then ongaku no sensei to say music teacher. And you're connecting science teacher and music teachers using to particle, which means and. Then you would put particle wa here after talking about teachers because those teachers come in front of are to say that all these words here are topic. Then you put yasashi, kind at the end, ending with desu because there's no verb. 科学の先生と音楽の先生は優しいです。Just letting you know, if you wrote down 科学と音楽の先生は優しいです, that's perfect as well. That's correct. So some of you might be writing down science and music teachers are kind. Instead of writing down science teacher and music teacher are kind, that's okay as well. And you might be wondering, oh, how can I say teachers? In Japanese, we do not have plural. So sensei can mean one teacher, sensei can mean 100 teachers. So we just have to guess in the context. So now we're going to move on to note check. What I want to do is I want to write down the following 3 sentences in your OneNote class note. I want to write down these 3 sentences in OneNote class note, typing in Japanese characters, which is hiragana. But I understand some of you guys do not have Japanese keyboard. In that case, I want to write down in Romaji, just typing how you would pronounce those sentences in Japanese. So number 1, science teacher is kind. Number 2, math teacher is okay. Number 3, music and history teachers are strict. I want to write down these sentences in Japanese in your class note. If you have Japanese keyboard, I want you to type it in Japanese. If you don't, you can type it in Romaji using English keyboard. So we're going to move on to homework. There are two homework I want you to do. First, I want you to memorize vocabulary for subjects and adjectives. This is very important because you're going to have listening exam at the end of the term on top of the writing assessment. So you're going to need to understand what the teacher is talking about, and you need to understand them by using your memory about your vocabulary, about the vocabulary of subjects and adjectives. So make sure you remember them. We're going to be playing a lot of games once the lockdown ends, and you need to be using the vocabulary as well. Also, I want to spend a minimum of 10 minutes using memory hint app that I'm going to show you soon. This is an app to help you remember hiragana. And if you already know if you can read and write hiragana, I want to move on to katakana alphabet. You understand that this is the second alphabet we use in Japanese language, which we use to talk about non-Japanese words. For example, iPhone, Apple, McDonald's, they're going to be all written in katakana because they are not Japanese language word. Katakana, you would be learning katakana in year 9. But I can see that quite a few of you are capable of moving up to year 9 level. And that's wonderful. If you can push yourself moving on to katakana, year 9 level, let's do it. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video of how hiragana memory hint looks like. So that's an app you can download on your phone and you can practice it at your own pace. So what's cool about this, it's created by Japanese Foundation. It's a government organization and they funded the app. So that means it's free of charge. You don't have to pay for it at all. And what's cool is that, here you go, you can look at the picture of a character here, how it looks like. So it has a story. There is a snake. You can see a person and he's entangled by a snake. So that's how you pronounce If you click on this part, this thing, it will pronounce for you. So you know how it should sound like. So you can see a bit of animation here. The animation will move around, looking like the actual alphabet, which is pretty cool. And another cool thing about this is that you can have a quiz. You can select what kind of alphabet you want to practice on. And then here you go. You can see one of the alphabet on the screen. You're going to choose what it sounds like. And if you get correct, you get this awesome beat. So there are 46 characters in hiragana, and I want to remember them by the end of this term. If you can move up to katakana, let's do it. Memory hint is available for hiragana as well. So what we are going to do now is that we're going to move on to the prize for today. Well done for keeping up the awesome work. Thank you very much for watching towards the very end of the lesson. We're going to be watching some awesome video.
PPAP. I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen. I have a pen. I have pineapple. Pineapple pen. Apple pen. Pineapple pen. Pen pineapple apple pen. Pen pineapple apple pen.
Awesome. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining me on the on the lesson today. I hope that I get to see you next week, but in case we don't get to meet up, if the lockdown still keeps going, we're gonna have lesson this style. And I'm gonna have some awesome funny video made by Japanese people at the end of every lesson so that I can keep motivating you to learn Japanese in lockdown. If you have any questions, if you have any concern, feel free to email me or write in your class note. Otherwise, until I see you again, please stay healthy and well, and please do look after yourself and your family. And sayonara.